sleuth.
Daughter I had. I knew this was going to happen. But I would introduce her as my granddaughter, my best friend.
Cliff Williams misses his best friend. His granddaughter Abby was his shopping sidekick. His fellow moviegoer. Toy Story was top. And they enjoyed the classic television comedy,
The Andy Griffith Show.
Their favorite episode, the one in which a goat accidentally eats dynamite and sends Mayberry into a frenzy.
Watch it, Barney.
Yeah. I still watch Andy every day when I get home from work. Every day. It's on when I get home. I'll watch a couple of episodes, but I always think of her when I'm watching them. Because she's right there with me.
All the time?
All the time.
After Abby decided she wanted to play softball like her friend Libby, Grandpa drove to Delphi. That was the weekend before the tragedy near the Monon High Bridge.
She called early in the week and said, Grandpa, I'm all signed up for girls softball, and I'd like you to come down and take me shopping for a glove and a bat and shoes. And it was so warm down here. We got back to the hotel and we played catch out in the parking lot with her new glove, and then we went to the park, and I got to pitch to her, hit her some flies, the whole grandpa thing.
Among their last conversations, Grandpa shared this advice.
I told Abby, I said, you just got to work hard, practice. You might not get to play a lot, but just be part of it and work at it, and you'll get it. And that's how we left it. She was so excited about it, to be on a team with Libby and do all that.
Every year around the 4th of July, Abby spent a week at church camp in Michigan after spending 7 days with Grandpa. Their memorable outings included fireworks in Grand Rapids and horseback riding at the Double J Ranch. Following Abby's death, Grandpa made a tough decision. He honored their annual tradition by arranging for a riderless second horse wrapped in a wreath representing Abby's and Libby's favorite colors. Like in years past, he spent an hour on the trails.
It was really neat.
It was something you had to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard. Oh. That was the hardest thing this summer, was that.
But you did it because?
I loved her so much.
You still love her?
Yup.
That love extends to this crucifix that once belonged to his mother, a family heirloom that now watches over Abby's bedroom.
To lose her was not even on the radar. You never thought about anything like that. And then to have this happen, I still don't know how to do it, how to live without her.
While I sat in that interview, you could just feel that love in that room. And for Grandpa Cliff, he finds comfort in the big and small things which filled his heart. I was just simply amazed that they had a connection with the Andy Griffith Show. Here was a little girl from the 21st century who loved the show from yesteryear, and it was just amazing to spend that time with him.
I love Andy Griffith. I remember watching Andy Griffith with my grandfather. That and Cheers. He also liked the Days of Our Lives, but that's where I drew the line. How's everybody doing? Welcome to another Sleuth Intuition Live. We're going to be talking about the Delphi murders. We're going to be going over some things that we typically don't go over on this channel. We're going to talk about some things that we will continue to go over, such as the vehicle, the CPS building. But I wanted to cover more of a variety of things. Like, for instance, I saw this posted by Kelsey's Twitter today. So I thought that was interesting. She says here, I spoke with Murder Sheet today. They were very open to hearing my concerns and how they can do better in the future. They made me aware of some issues of harassment they have been receiving, much more than what I had heard creators getting previously in regards to the Abby and Libby case. I would like to make it very clear that no matter my opinion on content, I never condone harassment. No one deserves to feel unsafe. We can disagree on things and have civil conversations about those things and still show respect to one another. So I thought that was very interesting. How's everybody doing? Looks like we got a full house here. Sorry if it looks like I'm picking my nose. My allergies are just killing me. And then I got to sneeze just like that. Yeah, 21 Jump Street was a good one. It's not anything I would watch back then, but so let's go ahead and jump right in. I wanted to talk a little bit about the vehicle at the CPS welfare building. And kind of get your opinion if it's still valid information, if it's something we should still be talking to or talking about, and has law enforcement confirmed or verified any of this information. Figure if we get enough people in here, we can start figuring out what's going on with a lot of this information.
Seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway between the hours of noon to 5 on February 14th, 2017. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City Building.
We're going to speed this up to the 5.5 minute mark.
Had a couple of questions asked about the car. The car we're looking for was on February 13th, may have been said the 14th before. It was February 13th. The vehicle was parked at the old CPS DCS Welfare Building, abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North, next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway. That was between the hours of noon and 5 on February 13th. I do not have a description.
Can you do the description one more time of the vehicle?
One more time for everybody that didn't get that. We're looking for the identity of the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS Welfare Building that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North, next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway, between the hours of noon and 5 on February 13th. That's all the information I have.
So I just don't know what that means. The driver, the media asked, well, do you have a description of the vehicle? And he says, no. We're not asking about the vehicle. We're asking about the driver. Like, what does that even mean? Yeah, pretty sure they're referring to the building abandoned. But I mean, we know there was no vehicle there unless they towed it. RTV6 chopper footage was around 11 o'clock. And we know on the 14th, there was nobody looking at the CPS building. But on the 15th, it was swarmed. Such a long walk, but it makes sense. If the killer was using Snapchat, that distance right there, that 13-minute mark is about what it would take to walk from there and kind of get to that point where he's like, guys. What's up, Cindy? And they both read it verbatim. So, I mean, they're just reading off these cards. Yeah, a building was abandoned. Mandy says, I'd like to know if the vehicle had plates and did someone come pick it up or was it impounded? I have no clue about the plates, but I have heard rumors that they were Nevada plates, apparently. Don't quote me on that, but I have heard that. Yeah, maybe it was a stolen vehicle. They know they have the vehicle. They know who it belongs to. Criminals often will take a stolen vehicle to commit a crime. Maybe the person felt they couldn't make it back to the vehicle, or they panicked and went the wrong direction and had to call somebody to come pick them up. What is up, Purdue? Okay. So I wanted to cover this guy as a photographer and a journalist. He did some reporting on the Delphi case very early on. His name is J. Kyle Keener. So I want to read a post he made. I think it was a Facebook post on the 14th. So we'll read that first. He says, "It has been a tragic day in Carroll County, Indiana, the scene of a double murder. One thing they never teach you in journalism school is how creepy it feels to have to cover a homicide. For several hours, I photographed the search for two missing 13-year-old girls. This type of endeavor is stressful for the searchers, the first responders, and also the media at the scene. Detectives found the bodies of two missing teens near a rural hiking trail below the abandoned Monon High Railroad Bridge. The bridge itself is in incredibly beautiful making and difficult to witness a horrific murder scene so nearby. From 75 yards away, I could see girls' clothing in Deer Creek, east of the bridge, and knew full well that the girls were found very nearby. To walk in a place that a murderer had walked only a handful of hours earlier is extremely upsetting. But as journalists, it is part of the business and simply needs to be done to tell the news of our area." So I wanted to play some chatter here, some radio chatter. There it is. It's taking forever to load.
Part 15, squad 2.
Can you guys hear that?
Send it. Found an item of interest under the railroad bridge. Copy that. Go ahead and describe it to me. Girls' undergarments. Good copy. Thank you. Stand by.
He said girls' undergarments. So those weren't the signatures, or those weren't the souvenirs taken.
2515. Go ahead. It's on their way with evidence back, so just stand by there. They're on their way. They're coming through the water, by the way. There's at least 2 pieces of evidence so far. So you found more? What's the second thing you found? Because I'm only sending one evidence back. I have a cigarette butt in the water that is less than 2 or 3 days old. Okay, good copy.
Yeah, it's so strange. And the cigarette butt's probably from the search party. But he said here, from 75 yards away, I could see girls' clothing in the water. This was from his Twitter that I found this morning. He said the two missing young teen girls were hiking near the Monon High Bridge, where the searchers look for them near noon Tuesday. He posted that at 10:14 a.m. on the 14th. So before they even announce the bodies have been found, he is taking images of these men, which look like they're coming from the south end of the bridge, and he's calling them searchers. These are some of his photos, Mr. Keener. So I don't know where he's standing when he's taking these photos. I don't know if he zoomed in from a vantage point from the bridge, or did he go down on the south end and go as far as he could. Here's a close-up on that one image. And I'm wondering if he took that other image from around this perspective here. Maybe a little bit closer to the north end. Yeah. How and why did the clothing end up in the creek? Did somebody try to take it with them and dropped it? Was it removed while they were in the water, perhaps? Yeah, we don't know whose clothing it is, but I'm assuming. Yeah, I believe the shoe was found on the private drive. There we go. So there's one thing I noticed. It said that this chopper footage was taken in a little after 11 p.m., like around 11:30ish. One thing I noticed is there's not a lot of volunteer searchers. Really, the only people I see are looks like the frogmen, and then a lot of law enforcement and first responders. We got that one truck there. I believe Crime Vixen. I believe that's Weber property. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we do know for a fact. I think that's some of the information that they're going to be keeping the closest. That's usually the case anyway. Hey, Just Pam. Yeah, I hear that's Pat Brown's vehicle. One of the searchers, Ron Logan's neighbor, Apparently, he was with the people who found the girls. And there almost seems to be items there, but that could just be trash. $10.45. Yeah, I'm thinking that the bodies were found by law enforcement or somebody early. Like I'm thinking like around like early in the AM. That's why you don't see a whole lot of searchers. I know like around 8 a.m., 8:30, um, Derek German and a whole group of people were waiting at a fire station waiting for instructions. So I bet you right at that point they already knew what was going on. They had the tape around the crime scene. They had these frogmen in the water, and they were doing their best to preserve the crime scene. So, and I think once they had the bodies out of there and everything preserved and all the photos taken that they needed and everything gathered, I think that's when they announced that they found them. You know, it'd be hard right now. Let's say this was 6 a.m. and they had found them and announced it, and that place was covered, would be covered with law enforcement, people trying to get back there, media. So I'm assuming it would be more strategic to announce it after everything had been done. I'm assuming it would take a good, maybe close to 8 hours, maybe to get it done properly, anyway. I don't. I think I went too far. Hold on. So we're at the 15-minute mark. I needed to start at the 6-minute mark. Yeah, right here where they're in the water. So right there must be the location where they, where they started finding stuff, because I know the coordinates point to the crime scene just very near that area right there, just up that hill, and a little more south or east actually, down the creek area. So that must be where they were finding all that evidence. They're looking for more. Hey, Deb. Yeah, I think Becky Patty confirms this in multiple Facebook posts. She kind of clears up all that information. So thank you, Becky Patty, for that. Honestly, Richard says, Klein to the girls. My dad asked your age limit. Was BG someone acting as dad of Anthony Shots, meeting the girls as a ruse to get them to go with him? And it went bad. Lots of Klein connections. Yeah, I think it's multiple things. I think that what Keegan would do was he would use his Emily Ann profile, gain the trust of these girls, convince them that his dad or a brother or whatever, somebody older, is this great person. You should talk to him, and he's really just referring to himself. And then that's when he's like, well, who is it? It's Anthony Shots. Starts talking to them, and then starts manipulating them. So he like takes his time. He's like very I guess methodical with it. So I can see Keegan actually being, just a lone perpetrator. But there's also signs that he may not really know what was going on. He's sharing his phone. We're going to read some interview pages from the transcript from his videoed interview. We'll read that before we get out of here. And I mean, it's pretty detailed. They talk about people logging in, logging out. One of his phones is showing him connected to Wi-Fi. Where did you get that password? But that's pretty much his alibi. Country Club Road. But I did take a little snapshot. So up at the top left, and I could probably zoom this in a little bit for you. Yeah, I can't really tell what that is. Top left corner of the screen. I mean, it kind of looks like a bandana, doesn't it? Like if you were to tie a bandana in the back and then just take it off of your head and throw it down, it would kind of look like that. I can't tell. Maybe it's just trash. What's up, Tax Cut? Yeah, I believe Becky did confirm that as well. He was on the side that the bodies were found. She also mentioned something like they didn't stumble over them. So I don't know what that means. Maybe people were thinking that they stumbled across them into the crime scene. Oh, really, Just Mike? Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about him early. I even remember people were like trying to throw him in as a person of interest. It's kind of messed up. But it would be nice if he would come out and because his Twitter, there hasn't been activity on there. It'd be nice for him to come out and put a post, talk about that a little bit. So J. Kyle Keener, if you're out there, give us some updates or talk about some of the stuff you saw out there. Because he was taking images out on the bridge and there's only 2 people out there. That's kind of strange. You think if people are still missing, there'd be people all over there. And I found this image online this morning. So apparently that's right at the southeast end of the bridge looking down at the private drive. It's funny because there was a case of a missing girl. Um, so the girl and the mother went to sleep like around 10 p.m. Um, I'll find more details on this. I covered it in a live stream about a month ago. But he had a when the mother and the children went to sleep, and they had a young teenage girl. Well, the father invited a bunch of people over. I think it was like 10 people, and they were playing cards and they were getting really drunk. And apparently, somebody that he invited over had kidnapped, raped, and killed his daughter. And they really didn't know what was going on. Nobody was really communicating, and all the information was jumbled. The father didn't want to take the blame for having a party and being drunk, so he wasn't being honest. Um, just stuff like that. But I wonder if something similar happened. There's just nothing really pointing at that right now. I don't know, Amanda. I haven't checked my email yet. Hey, what's up, Curly? Invisible. What's up, Sandy? Yeah, I'm not going to check my email right now, but I will after this. Yeah, I wonder if that's how they were in a position to tell Keegan, like, hey, we know it's not you. I wonder if they showed an image to like their witnesses, like, hey, any of these guys look familiar? They're like, no, it's not them. Okay, so I grabbed 4 pages here. So this is from the interview when Keegan finally got arrested and put in prison. They videotaped the interview. They mentioned a previous interview from when they first conducted the search warrants. They referenced that within this interview as well. But this little portion here talks mainly about Keegan and Anthony Schatz communicating with Libby and how they basically spoke to her the day of multiple times from the sleepover and the day of. So let's start right here on this question. Yeah, so like I said, the things that we need to clarify on that stuff, we need to clarify. And just as in child pornography and the solicitation and the exploitation, that you weren't honest, like you said. I mean, you were just nervous and, well, right. Well, with the anxiety of getting caught, the Delphi investigation, we found things you weren't honest about either. What do you mean? And that I'm going to go into that because, yes, he's like, yes, please do. So at this point, he's like, okay, give me all that information because I don't know what you're talking about. Well, we need to discuss it. Okay. You had told investigators, and I know you say you don't remember a girl that you ever talked to, but I know you remember Liberty German, um, inaudible, right? And you talked to her and you admitted to talking to her. And I don't think I ever did, though. I think I talked to one of her friends like I told them. You admitted that you talked to her for a few hours at a sleepover, and then you blocked her because she was annoying. You remember that? Yeah, right. I remember that. You remember that? Yeah. So again, in going through with the fine tooth comb, that's not what happened. And I think you wanted to be truthful, and it was hard for you because you were scared. I mean, it's a double homicide investigation. Yeah. Well, I get it. Right. I get that. But here's where you have to be honest about it because now we have all the information, okay? Right. And I'm telling you right now, you can say you don't remember, but I'm telling you for a fact, you did not just talk to them during a sleepover. Okay? I'm telling you for a fact, you said, I didn't exchange any pictures with them. You said, I didn't exchange any pictures with them. I don't think I ever did. I'm telling you that's fact that you did, okay? Because the Anthony Shots persona that the fake account, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's a fact. Right. So just like talking in Liberty German is a fact. He says, right. Okay. Anthony Shots communicated with Liberty German. And it's a fact that it wasn't just for a few hours at a sleepover. In your own admission that you said in the interview, it is a fact on audio recorded and video recorded interview. You said, well, we never sent any pictures. And then the very next couple sentences you said, well, I knew they were at a sleepover because they sent pictures to me. Yeah, but I didn't send her. I didn't. Yeah, she didn't. Her friend did. Right, right. So you knew that they were there. And I mean, you had said that she had sent pictures. I remember that specifically. Again, that's a fact. I'm not trying to catch you in. That's a fact. He says, right. Okay. Just like, again, it's a fact that you're communicating to her multiple days at a time. Just like other girls that you were talking to, including up to the day that she went missing right before. And what I want to know is you would communicate with her on what? The iPhone 5? What was your primary device, right? Here they're just mentioning the device. He says, okay, well, on February 13th, this would have been logged in a little bit earlier. So that would have been 8 o'clock in the morning at your house, okay, where you and your dad live, two separate devices. See the number here? How they're the same? Log in, log out, log in, log out, one device, log in, log out, all within minutes of each other. The same Anthony Shots Snapchat account. So this just continues to lead me to believe that Snapchat is the thing that's causing, well, we need to bring more attention to Snapchat because I believe that without Snapchat, this crime may not have been possible. And I believe that's why they got rid of the name Snapchat murders, for certain reasons. What two devices were these? He says had to be the Samsung Galaxy. And then right here he says, oh, wait, hold on. Okay. He says that's a lie. It's not a fact. Same conversation of the OMG, what happened. Anthony Schott says, yeah, we were supposed to meet, but she never showed up. Okay. Now that's extremely incriminating. And see, not Anthony Schatz, but Keegan Kline he starts freaking out. That's a effing lie. That's a damn lie. How do you know? And he says, well, how can you? Basically saying, if you can't remember any of this other stuff, what makes you so sure you're remembering this correctly? Basically calling him out on his BS. He says, so how do you hang on? Because you don't know a lot of things about all this stuff, but all of a sudden, you know for 100% fact. See? So he tries to snitch on friend number one, probably trying to protect his father or somebody along those lines, or somebody much more scary, maybe somebody who can get to his family or something, maybe even him behind bars, who knows. But yeah, that's extremely incriminating. Well, because of time, let me finish up with just a few things that I found online, and then I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. We'll hang out and chat for a little bit, but other than that, let's take a look here. So this was a cover of an article, and it was Carroll County, and they're recovering the Packers plant. So I wanted to get your opinion on that possibility. Not quite sure how I feel about that. Yeah, Vanessa. I even remember people would get upset. They would say, hey, stop calling it the Snapchat. Social media had nothing to do with this. Stop calling it the Snapchat murders. Well, now we know why they were calling it the Snapchat murders. Because the guy was sitting either at the main parking or at the CPS building, saw a Snapchat post, and beelined it to the Monon High Bridge to commit a crime. Well, at least that's what the evidence says right now. Who knows what really happened? Yeah, those do have really shiny buttons. Those are probably having some bright spots right here on this image. What's up, Zen? Yeah, I agree. What's going on with Aspen? Hope he's doing okay. I think they had an iPad too, Luis. Yeah, it's very messed up. Oh, he's sick like that? Like he might have COVID or something? That's horrible. I don't know if I could go through that again. It was pretty bad. I don't know if she has passwords, just Mike. It's kind of like if you were to come on my computer right here, like you wouldn't need any passwords. Like everything's the passwords are already just set in there automatically, you know? Oh shiz. Well, Aspen, if you're out there, I hope you feel better, buddy. Well, I'm just wondering if his hand is forcing the jacket upward, or if it's kind of like a pilot jacket, you know, a bomber jacket style, where it kind of has the elastic or a pull string right around the waist area, or is his hand shoving, causing the jacket that way? Because it's obvious he's like manipulating whatever's going on, possibly with a gun tucked underneath or something. Yeah, we love you, Aspen. Get better soon, buddy. Yeah, COVID's no joke. Yikes. Swearing? Yeah, this is an adult podcast. Kind of. We try to keep it mature as much as we can. Yeah, you guys make an awesome team. Swear jar. That's funny. Yeah, but that I don't know if that's a fanny pack. Doesn't look like a fanny pack from here. I don't know what that is. If anything, it's a holster. Like a leather holster. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Some early Facebook stuff. I mean, does anybody even know if this stuff holds water at all? This says here, I've heard from several people at work that they spoke to another woman at work whose sister lives in a house that is right by the trail's entrance. Apparently, the woman who lives there let her dog out. It was barking a lot, and she looked out and saw the girls passing by, followed by two boys with hoods up. She said the boys looked around the girl's age. No mention of those boys from any news, though. So I remember this a long time ago. I remember we were talking about this all the time. Has this been debunked? Does anybody know? What's up, Bruce? Hey, Miss Thang. I don't know, Brian. It's a good question. The whole white mustache thing. So yeah, I guess this would be considered the dog lady. That was in the police report, I believe. Little smack, like a shirt tail. That's what Kim Riley called it too. No glasses, and his facial hair isn't white or gray, so there is no way BG's Ron Logan. Yeah, I don't think Bridge Guy is Ron Logan. I think Bridge Guy is much shorter than Ron Logan. It sure feels that way. Hey, Sloopy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, he has an old school, like, white or mustache. His mustache game was on point. Yep. Hey, Kathy. Yep, I think she's the dog lady. And then I also found this, and I remember this conversation. I was in this Facebook group. I think this happened like 2 years ago. They asked David Erskine, but just to clarify, you did say you sent those texts in the beginning about what you saw, right? And he said, yeah. This is where he was talking about, he was answering questions, and then they actually blocked him from the group for some strange reason. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Try to keep it right at an hour mark. Scheduled this live a little bit later. Trying to figure out a really good time. This seems to be when everybody's off work and can hang out a little bit. You don't trust the Erskine stuff because of the no fighting? Yeah. I always say just think of the human element and everything, you know? Some things you don't even think about, especially when you're grieving. Coping mechanisms. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I tried to cram a bunch of information into a small amount of time. Oh, that one was for fun. The late night one? Yeah. I never planned to keep that one up. It was fun, too. It was a good talk with Sloopy. Cheyenne, I believe he has COVID. But he's going to bounce back. I don't know. I never intended to keep it up. You know, it wasn't like a real live where somebody can watch it and gain any of this information. It was just kind of like if anybody's up and hanging out, you know, something to do, you know, pass some time. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Bruce. A little bit late. Yeah, it was fun. I just don't want anybody taking that away. Yep. Thanks, Susan. It's good to see you again. Yeah, we had a nice little insomnia crew going. I don't know, it helped me. I went and kind of gave me an appetite. I ate something and passed right out. So thank you guys. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. Try to see what I can put together for tomorrow for you members. It's been a while. It's been a couple days since we got together. And we'll see what's on your mind. Maybe we'll make it like a non-formal thing, very casual. Just jump in and whoever we can catch and have a good conversation. All right, guys, until next time, I really appreciate it. Be safe and take care of your family and most importantly, yourself as well. Bye.
Smooth.